You know, it's good to have people around you, especially significant people, who no matter how great you become, it doesn't bother them. They're not bothered by what I do. They're not bothered by what I make. They're not bothered by what my capacity is, because they've already been there, they've done that, and they ain't worrying about what it is you have, because I already have what I have, and I have a considerable amount more than you probably will ever have in your life. So whatever you do is pocket money to me, so just go and enjoy yourself, and let's go about it. When I see myself within the scope of his definition of who I am, then it will also unify, and it will center and gather all of the things that are around me into one powerful self-identity. See, all of us are influenced to a great extent by greater and lesser self-identities. Everybody does not control your thinking about yourself. Some people you have given great power, and you have allowed them to recognize you in a certain way, and you accept how they recognize you as the way you really are. It is very sad when we allow people who should not have the authority to control how we think about ourselves, particularly when they don't think very much about us. And yet still, in our self-theory, in our self-identity, we have released ourselves to be recognized by how they think about us. And consequently, I am now seeing myself through the eyes of someone I have empowered to tell me how I am. I don't know, have you ever been around somebody who is so quick to tell you how you are when they don't even know you? And to begin to operate and live your life within the parameters of their thinking is oftentimes to doom yourself to a level of self-consciousness that lowers the capacity that you have, simply because you have empowered somebody who wants to send you a negative message to become the sole recognizer of who you are. So consequently, our battle has been to identify ourselves within the proper light of who we are, so that we achieve what God has intended for us to achieve. And it's not limited to the disposition that people take towards you. You have got to then remove the significance of who you allow to identify you and place your faith in a power that does not restrict or minimize, but put your faith in the power of God that elevates, embellishes, enhances, strengthens, and takes you to another level. I want to take my time with this. It's a critical piece. You see, that's why faith is created by the Word of God. And it is definitely a determination of the whole self-determining man. And I say it that way because once I have faith and once I have stood on the Word of God, then the Word of God releases me to become whatever I believe I can become within the parameters of that Word. Notice what he says in many instances as he speaks to people. He says, be it so according to your faith. I have given you a presentation. I have laid it out before you. And now it's left to you, according to the measure of your faith, to become what it is that I have placed before you. I have all power. All power is in my hand. And when I think about that, I think about the man who wanted his son healed, and the disciples couldn't do it. You remember the story? Jesus is on the mount. And when he came, he said to the Lord, he said, now, Lord, whatever you do, if you can just do anything, I need you to do it for me. Jesus says, now, if thou canst believe, he said, all things are possible. I want you to see what's happening. I am coming to a supply that is unlimited because he has all power and the capacity to do whatever he wants. He has broached it to me. He has presented it to me that when you come to me, you come to an all-powerful God. Now, it is left up to me to ask for anything or all things because I am a self-determining man, which means now that when I approach him, I have to release myself into himself. The subject has to release into the object of faith. And when I release into the object of faith, now I have his power to become whatever it is he's got the capacity to make me. You see, many times because we have released ourselves to lesser entities, we have not become all that we should become. I've got news for you. You know, it's good to have people around you, especially significant people, who no matter how great you become, it doesn't bother them. I was saying on my governing board, I have one billionaire, I have a couple of millionaires, and 3 or 4 or 5. And somebody says, well, why you have people like that? Well, the answer is really simple. And that is, they're not bothered by what I do. They're not bothered by what I make. They're not bothered by what my capacity is because they've already been there, they've done that, and they ain't worried about what it is you have because I already have what I have, and I have a considerable amount more than you probably will ever have in your life. So whatever you do is pocket money to me, so just go and enjoy yourself, and let's go about it. You see, but when you deal with people who don't have what you have, how do you grow? I play chess all the time, and if I play with people I can beat all the time, then I can never improve. I have to get in the company of someone who is a master, so that he already figured my move out 10 or 20 times before I made it. You see, when you put your faith in somebody, you need to put your faith in somebody that once they become a part of you, it doesn't take you down, but rather it takes you up. I wish I could talk. Oh, God, I feel it. Because it's only in having something, an object above you, that you reach. You don't reach for something that's below you. If something's below you, you bend down. Well, ain't you sick and tired of bending? Amen. Amen. It's time to reach. The power then of the Almighty is always consistent. It will do what it is requested. The idiosyncratic response is the individual who is standing around all this power and will not utilize the power because he or she will not release themselves into the power of God to the extent that they should. In other words, I'm simply saying you need to open the valve. There's water there, but you got to open the pipe. If you just open the pipe, some things flow through you that you never ever thought could flow through you. But when you meet Jesus, you got to change the way you recognize yourself. I'm going to preach this thing till the devil gets mad. I was closing on Wednesday night, and it was interesting as I was closing that the Lord gave me another revelatory experience as I was closing. And it's interesting that I can look in the mirror. I can go and look in the mirror at myself and feel pretty good about myself. But nobody ever comes to self-identity without others around them. And I look and hey, that guy's all right in the mirror. But now, if I hang around some folk who don't think that I am all that, and they have their little discussions, and they somehow it gets around to me that and looks in the eyes of the beholder anyway, and folk deciding that you ain't all that. And if I begin to allow them significance in their opinion about me, then they will begin to alter how I feel about myself. I'll put it this way. It's all right to be ugly. It's fine. If you're ugly, you're just ugly. But it ain't all right to feel ugly. I want to dance on that. Y'all excuse me. Let me get a shout in. It's you see, because faith, if you understand it, in self-identity, what faith becomes are certain hypotheses, certain propositions that a person holds with a great degree of certainty. And that is, if you tell me based on the power of God that he can achieve this or that in my life, now faith says I'm going to hold on to this proposition. It hasn't happened yet, so it's hypothetical, but yet still I hold on to the hypothesis with such a certainty that I now conform myself to the object that I have my faith in. If I have my faith in the assessment of people who don't like me and want to spread the negative to me, then I'll soon turn on myself, and you will make me feel inadequate, feel incompetent, feel ugly, because I identify who I am through the eyes of other people. It's a critical thing because now faith has a psychological impression on me. And the object of my faith, I must be very careful who I allow myself to trust. I need to trust truth. I feel it here. Because trusting a lie is trusting nothing. And lies are used to manipulate. Truth is used to set you free. I'm going to have a little church. I feel it coming on. So now faith as self-identity integrates some things. What it does is it integrates subjective self-understanding and with the objective fact compact and it brings it together in an existential whole. It brings everything together. When I am a man of faith, it is not just me. It's who I believe in. I feel it here. If I have faith in you, it's not just me. Because my faith in you has brought you into my space. I don't only have faith in myself. When you have a prayer partner, you have faith that your prayer partner can talk to God. That's why. And so you bring that prayer partner into your space. And now here's what Jesus says when you two come together. He says, if 2 or 3 come together in my name, now we got 4. I wish I could talk to you here. If 2 agree, then you bring him in. So now it's not just you and your prayer partner. It's you, your prayer partner, and the object who you believe. And so now when I talk, now that Jesus is here, it's not just me talking, but it's Jesus and I who are speaking. But the voice he is using is mine, because he is a spirit, and I have brought the object into my spirit, and now the object and the subject is one existential whole. So if you come against my faith, you don't come against just me. You come against the object of my faith. Because he and I are wrapped in here together. Oh, I feel like having church. That's why folk don't want you to step your belief up. Because when you step your belief up, you move up. And a whole lot of folk no longer can control you because you're out of their reach. I wish I could preach this thing. See, all right, we somewhere there. It's critical then to see how God then orchestrates the circumstance in the text, because he understands that the empowerment here, yes, is a situation that has to be brought under conflict. The problem now is that the moment of uncertainty is the place where you dissolve the old identity. And yes, you got to dissolve the old identity, no matter how partial, no matter how trivial it is. And now you've got to deal with the engendering, the testing, and the validating of the new self propositions. I don't begin by what I do. I begin by how I think. And it's how I think about myself that will bring on what happens around me. I feel it here. It ain't other people. What goes on around me? If it's confusion around me and I got some drama, it's because I think dramatically. I wish I could talk to you about that. I'll get some counseling later. But the point is, if you've got peace around you, it's because you think peaceful. If you got power around you, it's because you think power. Oh God, if you're positive and smiling with the energy of this choir, it's because you're feeling good about yourself. And when you move then to the next level, there's always going to be an engendering, a testing, of validating of self, because experiences in changing always send flashes of doubt. There's no way that you can move to another level and give up the comfort of where you used to be and not be moved with some flashes of doubt. But doubt is to be mastered and not to control you. And what it says is, when there's some doubt somewhere, it says you're going somewhere that you ain't never been. So I ain't certain about the outcome. I just believe that's my next step. And I'm going to take it even if I'm nervous, because God will soon show me that you ain't taking it by yourself. I'm taking it with you. I feel like having church. No matter how certain and stable our identity has become, we never move beyond the necessity of making partial alterations in our self-definitions, because there's new challenges. And whenever there's a new challenge, it brings about a new definition. Can I put it this way? Some of you have said to yourself, I never knew I could ever handle that. But now I find that I can master it without difficulty. But if there was not a new experience, you couldn't have a new definition of who you are. And sometimes you fear something only to get in it and find out it ain't nothing to be afraid of. So now I redefine who I am by what I just went through. I feel like preaching here. Sometimes you go through hell with somebody, and then you have to redefine yourself. When you come to the conclusion, I ain't got to take this, I just redefine myself. It used to be I thought I had to live like this, but I've just redefined myself, and I'm out. I feel like having church. It's critical now because these boys have been defined. When I look at the definition that have been with these boys, and I wish I had the time, because the first and the second story here, and that's rejection at Nazareth, beheading of John, that deals with the first soil. The middle soil is number 3 and 4, and that is where the disciples wouldn't want to feed the folk, and fourthly, where Peter believed, but then he didn't believe because he was caught now in the next soil, and that is where the plant began to grow, and then it was choked. The fifth story, of course, is total faith, and that was the Gennesaret pagans. They believed God totally. But I want you to see the self-definition of the disciples and look at it from that point of view. Because here are a group of men who are on the inside, the privilege of knowing the mysteries of the kingdom, and has been given unto you, but to them that are without, they haven't been given. And so they have received the revelation of who Jesus is. And the Lord said, my Father gave you that revelation, which means don't brag in who you are, because you didn't acquire it by your cognitive, intellectual, anthropological capacities. You simply got it because it was given. I wish I could talk about that for a minute. You see, some of you are here simply because it was given. God just gave it to you. And when you're in that state, you're generally sheltered and you're sequestered. And it's a time now of shielding, because Jesus is covering his little church. And in covering them, they are now defined with him just as companions. But they don't have the challenges in order for them to grow, because nobody grows when they're sequestered. I have a daughter, she's 30 years old, and she calls her father all the time because she knows her father is her backup. Dad, I need you to make a donation to the Tiffany Jones Foundation this week, I really don't want to ask you, Dad, but I don't know what else to do. You know that kind of stuff. And that's a setup, And as long as she's got Daddy covering her, she don't have to care about her bills. You take a sister out here. You got a good man, and he covers you. you spend, and you just did just everlastingly too much at Neiman the last time you were there. You just overdid it, but you got a good man, so it's all right. And your friend saying, girl, you done got in trouble. No, it's all right. He'll fuss a little bit, but he gonna pay it anyway. It ain't no problem. I get by the fussing. I won't trip when he's fussing, because he gonna fuss, but he gonna pay. Don't worry, he gonna pay. I just drop one of them tears on him, and of course he'll go to pay it. She can do what she wants. He gonna take care of the gas, go clean the car up, gonna make sure that the engine's working. Hear a little knock in the car, he said, no, let me take that in, baby. I don't need you out in the street riding like that car ain't working right. He talks to the mechanic for you. I mean, he just goes and tells the mechanic, now you fixing this car. This is my car. Now she's driving it, but it's mine. I don't need you playing with her. I need you to fix it right, and don't charge it, because folk take advantage of folk who aren't covered. I wish I could talk. Yes. You're going on a long trip, and you get behind the wheel. Before you get to the city limits, you sleepy. So you say, now, baby, you got to drive. I'm tired. Well, we just left home together. It ain't 20 minutes, and you tired already. Yeah, I'm tired. Now he gets behind the wheel and pulls the load all the way to San Francisco, while you just snoring over the sound of the music, and just got to turn the radio up on full to keep that from messing with everything going on. You're covered, you're sheltered, you're sequestered. You can walk around without even thinking about certain things. But that other lady that's got to get up every morning and got to wipe the sleep out of her eyes and just go to tearing the sleep out, and got to make it up, and got to fix it up and send it up, and got to get out there and get behind the wheel, and it's knocking, but she can't do nothing about it. She got to get up and make food for herself, and watch out for her kids, and try to remember not to buy gas at 11:30 at night, and try to do the right thing. Why? Because she ain't sheltered. I wish I could talk to you. But when life's crisis arises and trials come, it ain't the one that's been sheltered that can stand up and fight life. But it's that one that knows how to survive when everything is going crazy. That's the one you want in the trenches with you. I feel like preaching in here. The disciples, y'all sit down. Do I have a little time? The disciples, they were sheltered, and yet they witnessed his omnipotent behavior and his miraculous display of power. And they seemed to be farthest from the mainstream of divine exhibition, particularly when it came to self-identity with Jesus. We just hang with him, but they were nothing like him, because to have faith is to conform to the object that you have faith in. I feel it here. They had none of his graces. They had none of his qualities, because when you have faith, you absorb the qualities of the person that is object of your faith. So they were full of traditional pride and organizational superiority. They were sheltered like some of the saints who's got all kinds of amenities. You see, everybody doesn't have a parking space. Some folk in here have to fight to get here early to get a seat. Some folk don't know who to call to say, save me a seat this Sunday, please. I got 5 or 10 people. They got to fight their way in. And they're not even upset. They ain't tripping over it. Because I didn't come because of a position. I came because I needed a blessing from the Lord. So their definition, they're defined in my sight as a group of sheltered disciples who would send the 5,000 away hungry. They would keep the children from coming to Jesus. Had none of his qualities. They would keep Jesus from the woman at the well. They would keep him from Zacchaeus' house. And they tried to run the Syrophoenician Canaanite woman off. They accused Jesus of not caring, unable to heal the man's son when Jesus was on the Mount of Transfiguration. And yet still all their little debate was who is greatest among us? If you were busy serving, you wouldn't be busy trying to figure out who you are. I feel like having church in here. If you were busy helping somebody, you wouldn't be sitting around in little groups trying to see who's a big shot and who's significant. Because when you're serving, roll up your sleeve like Jesus. Now power will be jumping all off you. I feel the Holy Ghost. They're enjoying the corporate privilege and the inner circle sanctum, and they don't have any hunger but for power, and no thirst but for personal aggrandizement, looking not to praise God, looking to praise themselves. No need but for recognition. Don't forget to call my name. And now that's just a front for a good test. I need your help now. Touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I hope you ain't fronting for a good test. I feel it here, because God's getting ready to pull the shelter off so he can take you to the next level of self-identification. I feel something pushing me here. Oh, God, I feel your presence. And so now the time of shelter is now coming to a place where revelation now is going to be revelation in a situation of need. In other words, I'm going to make them need something in order to get them to where I want them to go. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let them enjoy the accolades of me feeding 5,000 people. You ain't gonna walk through the crowd. I hope you're doing well, and Jesus and I took care of you, and I hope to see you next time. And oh, aren't we something? Yes, we are. We're just so marvelous, and anytime just stop by Jesus and I will take care of your business. No. I want you fellas to go ahead of me, get in the boat and go to the other side. Now, because of his omniscience, he knew that they were going to get in some trouble. And every now and then he lets us get into some trouble. I feel it here, especially when you think you got it all together and you're the cats meow and the dogs bow wow. And oh, I'm so blessed. You know where I'm going on vacation? I'm just blessed. You know what I drive? I'm just blessed. Do you need anything? Oh, no. I'm just everything is going my way. And the Lord said, and I ain't that just a front for a good test. Yeah, I'm getting ready to show them. Anybody in here ever been through something? Did it change your definition of yourself? Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost. And so he realizes now that he knows what he's going to do. So he creates the need by sending them into these contrary winds. And then instead of rushing to them, he went up somewhere to pray. And so now the time is passing and they're in the midst of the water. He's fixed it so they can't go back because it's just as short going forward as it is going back. I don't know about you, but he's put me out there where I couldn't go back. He shut the door behind behind me. And he says, you're going to have to learn some new behavior because the old one ain't no good no more. You're going to have to define yourself in light of where you're going and not in light of where you're coming from, because I'm fixing it so that this storm gonna catch you in the middle. I feel like preaching in here. I have been there where I said, I wish I didn't start out on this journey, because if I hadn't started this thing, I would cancel it right now. But God said, I got you in the middle. You can't cancel it. You got to see it to the end. I feel like preaching in here. I'm talking to somebody that put some money out in business. You can't get your money back. You got to see it to the end. I feel like preaching in here. I don't know. I'm tired, but I must be a good tired, because I feel the power of the Holy Ghost. Give somebody a high five. Say, I'm too far out to turn around now. I got to see it to the end. I got to go all the way with this one. It's easy now when you've been sheltered for a while and you just know the Lord is coming in a hurry. And so you know you got a little egg nest, my daddy calls it. You got your little bank account. And even though the winds are blowing financially, you still have your savings, So, I'm spending a little money, but I believe before it gets down halfway, the Lord's going to inject me with another dose of some cash. Then as it starts dwindling, you ain't nervous yet, because you got enough laid aside for at least a good year. So now I'm stepping out by faith. Oh, yeah, you are. But you got my backup just in case. And I got some friends, and I got some folk who owe me some money that I can reach for. But let the winds keep blowing. Let those winds blow until now the money dwindling a little bit. It's getting down close to where you now feel a little knot growing in your stomach. I feel like preaching to somebody here. The winds are blowing and you're getting a little anxious now because you're spending more than you're bringing in. And now what used to be, what looked to you like 5 years of money is now looking like 5 months of money. And you got to start calling now, because now I got to start calling who owes me so I can see, can I get some money back? Now, hello, I would not be calling you. I haven't called you about my money in about 5 years. And I wouldn't be calling you now, but some things come up. The wind is blowing. That's what it is. The wind has just come up. And I need you to see about my money right about now. Only to find out they ain't got it. And now the knot is coming and the winds keep blowing. Now you ran out of who owe you money. Now you got to call who you think loves you. I got to call some of my friends. Can you help me? And they send a little bit and they send a little bit. But the winds keep on blowing. And before long, the winds are blew that away and is now eating down on the thing that's getting down to zero. And the winds just keep on blowing. By now, you're about to panic because now you're rowing for your life. I don't know, have you ever been there? But now, Mr. Sheltered, now you discovered, if the Lord don't bring me out now, I'll never make it. If the Lord don't turn it around, I'll never come out of this situation. But my life is so messed up and my psyche is so gone that I can't even identify that the next thing coming is is Jesus. I've gotten used to so much trouble. Shake somebody's hand and say, the next person in your life ain't coming from the devil. This is Jesus sending somebody to fix what's broken. I know you're nervous, but don't be afraid. It is I. You're the Holy Ghost. I know you're nervous, but I told you weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. Give somebody a high five. Say it's morning time.